Just gonna start, and now there's nobody on right now anyways, so it's all
They
good.
would pop up.
Yeah, so we'll see a number up here that tells us how many people are watching, and then the comments appear there, but like I said, they're quite small. And then I'll be able to go over to here. Okay, good. There's still nobody watching. No offense. Oh, we've got someone. Hello, hello. Just give us 1 second to get the laptop all set up here, and then we will start our chat with Natascha.
Hello.
And this is the draggy part of the video, and I wish I could cut it off or start the live without people seeing it so they don't have to watch this bit.
Well, if you're sitting there going, yep, click, click, click.
Yep.
Oh, look at us.
And there we are. And then that's going to pop up bigger, and we'll be able to see the comments here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Technology, lovely.
Yes. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to In the Spotlight. I'm Catherine Graham, and with me tonight is Natascha Steckel of Insightful Dream Coach. Sorry, what is your...
Yeah, Insightful Dreamer, Coach and Mentor.
Insightful Dreamer, Coach and Mentor. And Natascha has been a dream advisor. Can I call you that?
If you wish.
A dream advisor for me on more than one occasion on some of my weirdest dreams that I've had. And she's always been able to help me feel more grounded with the dreams afterwards. And
well, that's good.
It really has been very helpful. So welcome, Natascha.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what got you started into the dream world? And
okay, so I've been dreaming my whole life, and I had absolutely no idea that no one else was using dreams for, helping them work through their problems. So I had a rough start in life, but it was my way to get through things. My dream world was kind of my safe space. I could play with my guides, and I could, fly through the hallways. I think the earliest I remember I was 4 that I could actually remember that I was dreaming. And yeah, just lots of playing, that's where I do my work, where I do my release work. It was just my whole life. So then I think when I moved to Canada, and my life went on, and I just went about my business, and was helping friends interpret their dreams and try to get them going on it. And then somebody said, well, what you're actually doing is not really normal. Whatever normal was at the time.
Okay.
And that not everyone was doing what I was doing. I thought everyone was using this as some sort of a self-help technique or a coping technique. I just saw it as another hand or a tool to use. So it was actually D. Hughes who pointed that out to me, that maybe I should share my knowledge with people. And that's kind of how that got started.
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing this professionally then?
Probably about 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think when I started my whole spiritual journey, that was, I think, in 98, and took all my other education courses along with it. I'm always taking some class of one kind or another. And so then I just started teaching people on one-on-one, really not just by donation, let's say. And then I went back to school to become a dream therapist, and that was, I think, in 2005, roughly like that. And so then I started doing the workshops and doing my Dreamy Mondays and doing the email dream interpretations and doing workshops. It's not at the moment my main part of my business right now is reflexology, as most of you guys know. But the dream work is really where my heart is and where my passion is. So
awesome.
Yes.
So can you tell me what exactly is a dream therapist then?
Well, it's the name of the diploma. The dream therapist is the name of the diploma. So
hi, Karen.
Therapy is really not what I'm doing. I'm coaching. I'm showing people how to put words to their symbols. So a dream, really, I can help guide you, but in the end, it's your responsibility to see what resonates and what doesn't. So that's kind of, I'm more of a guide.
Okay.
More of a dream guide, not really a therapist. So, but what the dreams do point to is any sort of issues in your tissues or things that you're trying to work through on a daily basis, as well as anything else that's underlying. So it brings it to the surface. So those nagging, repetitive dreams that, you know, they're driving you crazy and you just don't know what's going on. They're trying to get your attention for a reason. So I help you kind of bring a story to that dream that might relate to your day to day and make you kind of go, oh, this is where my issue may be.
Yeah.
So that is really, really more of what I do. I help bring a language to your symbols.
That's awesome. Now, would you encourage people to, like, I have the Dream Moods app on my phone to look up symbols and stuff. Do you encourage people to look up the meanings of the symbols, or do you encourage people to actually come up with their own meaning for what that symbol might be for them?
I think at the beginning, if you're brand new to this and you really don't even know where to start, then the dream dictionaries can actually be helpful just to give you a guide as to what it potentially could mean. Nowadays, there's so many different dream dictionaries out there, and they're all culturally based too, and time-based. So a dictionary changes along with a sign of the times that we're in.
Yeah.
So maybe during the Depression, when money was an issue, almost every sign that maybe caused some anxiety during the times was related to lack of money or lack of food. Whereas nowadays, you know, you might actually dream about texting. Well, what does texting mean to you? So the dream dictionaries are constantly updated by the experts out there, whoever they may be. And they're a good guide to get you started. But what I focus on is kind of returning and empowering yourself to your intuitive self to understand what that dream symbol means to you. So for instance, if I was to dream about a butterfly, I could say transformation. If I was to ask someone else what butterfly means, it could be that they're petrified because as a child they were chased by a butterfly. So it all is in the end back to you as to what your language, what your symbols actually mean. So that's kind of what I teach, is to have you understand what the words are to each symbol. So we would sit down and we would go into a history as to who are you, and you know, where have you come from, what are your challenges, and then that gives us both a better idea as to what might be happening in the dream. Now, I do take it a step further because I'm an empath and an intuitive. So oftentimes when I see the dream written down, or when the person sits with me and explains to me what the dream means, I usually do get promptings as to what's actually going on. But in order to teach you, and to teach you how to do that by yourself and empower yourself to take over your self-healing journey, I teach you how to put the words to the symbols.
That's really beautiful, because a lot of people will teach with an idea of never really giving the person the ability to stand in their own power. But the fact that you're actually helping people to become empowered and to be able to break down what those symbols mean for them, I think that's so incredible.
For me, my dreams are my saving grace and my sanctuary. So during every time in my life when there has been the ups and the downs that we all go through, it's been my saving grace, and it's been my safe space. So for me to be able to share that with others and help them truly realize what kind of a gift we already have built in if we work with it and understand it, my goodness, like what a power. Right?
Absolutely.
It's that internal power, because yes, it's, you know, some people call it higher self, some call it intuition, some say, you know, that's where you talk to God, that's whoever you are, however you define God. What a sense of comfort. Now, not during a nightmare, but even that has meaning. But yes, you know, it is such a wonderful gift. Absolutely. And I want to give that for people to do on their own. That's, you know, we've in today's society, I think we're slowly coming back to community, to support, to help each other grow. We're getting away from a movement I never really was a fan of, that whole guru, please pray to me, and I'm the expert. And I'm not. I'm a dreamer. I'm an experienced dreamer, but that really doesn't mean anything because I'm experienced dreaming my life, not someone else's, right? I'm just sharing what I've learned over the years with others. But yeah.
Awesome.
Dreams.
So you brought up the nightmares. So what would be your advice to people who are having nightmares? Like, because to me that would be a darker shadow that's trying to illuminate. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, that goes. The nightmares usually happen during the different dream state. There's different stages in sleep. So nightmares is actually happening when you're not in REM sleep, and depending totally on what the nightmare is and what's going on in a person's life would dictate as to what's actually going on.
Okay.
So there is no, there's canned explanations out there for nightmares. But with the people I've worked with over the years, there is no one size fits all.
Okay.
There's a general guide to one size fits all, but a nightmare could even just be caused due to lack of sleep, stress, you're on some funky new meds, or, you have some chemicals in your house that you're reacting to, mold, whatever, anything like that. So it could be as simple as food. Yeah. And then it could be as simple as, oh my gosh, you're being confronted by your shadow and it's trying to get your attention.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not straightforward.
Fair enough. Now, do you find, so as a one consciousness that we all are, do you find different themes that come up during different movements or different life events that are happening on a global level?
That's interesting. We're all connected.
Yeah.
We're all connected. But our dreams are very individual to us.
Yeah.
So there may be, because we talked about it earlier before we started the camera about dream sharing, that can happen, right? That you're sharing, you're dreaming about different events that you're going to together, or you're dreaming about global events. So you're getting into precognition too then at that point, which we do. But not everyone realizes that that's what they're experiencing.
Okay.
So it only makes sense that there really is a lot more of us dreaming about what's going on than what we realize, because people don't talk about their dreams. So there is no site where you can do the stats on.
True enough.
Right? And I don't have a large enough sample to measure that.
I'm like, you need to start a website, Natascha.
I think so.
I think that would be really, really cool.
What are we dreaming about today?
Yeah, and just see if there is any symbolism that comes up. So Amanda Kelly's saying, my son has night terrors. How can I prevent it? Does a dream catcher actually work?
It's been my experience that dream catchers work. Night terrors, you'd want to probably talk to them about what's actually going on. Oftentimes what helps a lot with the children is if you put the Himalayan salt around their bed to kind of bring up a border, because at night the veils drop. So from a spiritual perspective, they are more sensitive than us at times because we shut that side down. So they are experiencing more things than what you and I may realize. So others, you could take the Merkaba and clear crystal Merkaba on each corner of the bed frame, one under the middle of the bed, or any kind of crystal that like a clear quartz. I'm trying to think of some others.
I use amethyst.
Yes.
My Odin, he used to suffer from a lot of night terrors, and especially around new moons and full moons. It seemed like that's when he would be waking up more often. So I see you're saying that your son's only 15 months old, Amanda. But yeah, the idea of the Himalayan salts around the bed, the amethyst or clear quartz crystal. Any type of crystal, and because he's 15 months old, I would actually put them under the mattress, inside that tucked corner on the mattress of the fitted sheet. That way he's not going to be able to get them. Yeah. So Sandy says, what would be your interpretation of a dream where you hear your heart beating and then it stops and it is quiet? Your mind is aware, but you do not see anything. Dark space is what you see.
You're lucid dreaming, and you're probably in that in-between stage where you're about to, it depends on how you're feeling too. So this isn't going to be that simple. Like, I'm not going to be able to go quick.
Yeah.
Fair
enough.
But I'm getting you're in an in-between state. So you're just traveling to wherever it is that you're going to next. So at night, we astral travel. We go wherever we want to go and do the different, we experience different things. So that's, I believe, what's happening to you.
Awesome. All right. So we've got lots of questions coming on.
Okay.
1 second, Christy. I am going to get to your question here. I just need to scroll up a bit. So Christy says, this is great information. Thank you for sharing. In regards to bad dreams, I have a reoccurring bad dream of either being kidnapped or in a really bad situation, and I wake myself up just before things get really bad. I assume that could be some shadows coming up.
Yes. Yeah, kidnapping. So there's something that if, first of all, because this is always your dream, anytime I talk to you about your dreams, I usually start with, if this were my dream, because again, in the end, no matter what I say, if I'm talking gobbledygook, because it doesn't really matter, because I'm not always 100%. So at least I'm taking ownership of what I'm saying to you, and I'm handing it back to you to empower you to say whether or not it resonates with you. So kidnapping. So if it was my dream, that's a very stressful event. So where in your life during the day-to-day business do you feel like you're being kidnapped? Where is it that you're being stolen away from? What are you being kept from? Is there something that you're entering, a new career that you really, really want to do, but there's something pulling you back and hiding you from exploring that? So maybe there's something going on in your family that is taking precedence and keeping you away from your own soul, what you want to explore. Hopefully that helps a little.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Amanda, just to jump back to you, if you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, you can get amethyst, clear quartz, Himalayan salts at the Rock Spa. That's on Victoria Street. You can get it at Purple Door on Ainsley Street in Cambridge. You can get it at the Hive and Grove at 222 Frederick Street in Kitchener. And Be True to You out in New Hamburg would also sell different crystals. Christy's saying, oh, very interesting and thoughtful. This definitely resonates and brings up great questions for me to consider. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome, awesome. Elizabeth is saying, I have reoccurring dreams of men chasing me. I'm always running the whole dream.
You must be exhausted. Yes, bless you. Okay, so that, if it were my dream, I would look at what part of my divine masculine side am I refusing to let me catch. So right now, that good old divine feminine, divine masculine, we're being asked to kind of become whole again and to meet, because without that, without balancing those two sides, we can't be whole. And yeah, you're running away from that right now. So you can also look at it as, where in your day-to-day life are you pushing that side of you away, and then bring that together. Sometimes in these nightmare type dreams, the ones that are really, really stressful, if you realize that you're dreaming, that's a lucid dream. So if you know you're inside that dream, you can literally stop that dream. All you have to do is, whoa, I'm not scared. What are you trying to tell me? And then you face that divine masculine. Takes practice, but you can actually be an active participant in your dreams and then take control back.
Yes. I actually remember one dream that I had that you had helped me with, and I had met my shadow self and I kissed my shadow self, and it was so cool and so empowering to be able to have that meeting, even though at the time I had no idea that's what it was about. But Natascha helped me to figure that part out, and I was like, oh, okay, that gives me a much better feeling than what I had when I was emailing you.
It's about embracing.
Yes. At first I was like, ooh, that was a weird dream for me to be having. So
maybe this is a good time for me to share about my Donald Trump dream.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I dreamt that I'm a reflexologist, so I massage feet, and I actually dreamt I was hired by Donald Trump to massage his feet, to do reflexology on it. And I remember being very lucid in the dream, going, oh, what the hell am I doing massaging Donald Trump's feet? But it was that whole self-fighting with what he's doing on the world stage versus my spiritual understanding of, how Jesus washes your feet, accepts and loves everybody, and that everybody has a purpose in this game that we're playing on earth. So it was a very profound dream, but at the time I was very, very confused and not happy to be massaging his feet.
And that's the greatest thing with dreams too, is that we can actually experience kind of these things that we might not actually experience in our waking life and still deal with the emotions.
Yes.
And come to a deeper understanding that we won't necessarily be able to have because we're here on earth living a life. And then in dream world, we get to live a totally different kind of life.
And experience everything and release things. And I think that's what I find this so powerful. We have our own built-in counselor, coach, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. If we can figure out what that language is that it's trying to tell us, we have a really powerful mediator and way to cope, especially in today's environment.
So how would you, just talking about like the inner coach and the inner therapist and psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it, how would you suggest to people, or what would you suggest to people to help them to start to understand what the inner coach or the inner psychiatrist is telling them? Would you suggest a journal or?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
So no, this is good. This is really good because not everyone sleeps well or goes to sleep well. So you can actually program your mind at night before you go to bed. Take some time and just keep saying to yourself, I want to remember my dreams. I want to remember my dreams. You can put some amethyst or moonstone. Moonstones are wonderful in helping accessing the dream world. So you can put that on a table, a night table beside you. You can put anything meaningful, and you want to keep a journal or a recorder of some kind, because as many of you know, the minute that we wake up, that dream is gone. And you can train yourself over time to actually extend that time frame of remembering. But you just need to keep following through that you want to remember. It's almost like self-hypnosis before you go to bed at night. And then write it down in a journal. What you then do from there is to try to put words with that. So as you write that dream out and you read it again in the morning, give it a title. Just see what kind of, take yourself out of that. Give it a title, see what it says, then go back and try to remember what your feelings were when you woke up in the morning. And then see if you can put words to that. There's more to it than that, but that will get you started.
Awesome. And so as they're putting words to it, are you trying to figure out a theme? Are you trying to see if there's patterns that are coming up?
Feelings and emotions. Feelings, okay. It's all, even in manifesting, it's all about feelings.
Yeah.
So it's same thing with the dreams. So you do want to, when you read that story, and remember how you felt when you first woke up. That's always a really wonderful indicator as to what might be going on with you at the time. Because you can wake up from a kidnapping dream and think it was absolutely fabulous. It doesn't have to be a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
So it all depends on how was I feeling when I woke up. And then when you read your story, look through and find themes. So the kidnapper, was he like, I don't know if you guys watch Netflix and Lucifer and whatever, but I mean, was he as gorgeous as Lucifer is? And, did he spark like some happy feelings, or were you terrified? And then describe those people and then you'll see a pattern emerging of who they may be reminding you of. Most of the time when you're dreaming about other people in your life, it's always about you. It's rarely ever about the other people that you're dreaming about. So that goes back to good old Carl Jung and his archetypes. So those 9 archetypes that he talks about, which some of you guys might not be familiar with, and it's too long to explain right now, but you'll have like the wise man, the wise woman, you'll have the ego in there, and they represent in different personas. So that helps you understand what it represents in you and what that dream is trying to tell you. There's so much to say.
Yes.
Yes, you're asking really good questions. But yes, so then you look at that and you pick out the nouns and you pick out anything else that's jumping out at you and you try to describe it. Look at it. What does it make you feel like? Describe it in 3 words. Let's say tomato. It's delicious. Red for passionate. or squishy and rotten. It could be something like that. It doesn't all have to be positive.
My first thought when you say tomato was salt.
There you go. Yeah, so salt. See, and everyone's different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't, yes.
That's really cool.
That's a good start.
All right. So, Layla says, Hi, Tasha. I've had a dream recently that I was a female pope that was stepping down and struggling against traditions. I have a hard time figuring out this one.
Yeah, so again, just what we just chatted about. You kind of want to look at how that made you feel when you woke up. Because there's a lot, again, of this divine masculine, divine feminine. There's a lot of religious aspects, like what are you fighting with potentially in your day-to-day life that where you might be, if let's say you were Catholic and brought up Catholic and, there's no female pope. So what are you struggling with there? You're stepping down. What are you fighting with there internally on a spiritual level? Changes that you might be thinking about in your day-to-day that you want to embrace that are new to you.
Awesome. You're so good at this. Like, she's just incredible. Crystal Lay, I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, Crystal, says, I used to dream about spiders all the time. I used to jump out of the bed in the middle of the night, freaking out, thinking they were on me or sliding out of bed awkwardly because I thought they were dangling above me. I have started working on releasing, and I have to click the see more button here. So 1 second, Crystal. I have started working on releasing my fear of spiders because I have been scared of them my whole life, but I don't know why. The dreams have slowed down significantly since working on the phobia, but I still check my pillows and covers every night to ensure they're not there.
That might just be a very straight phobia dream that just carries over. There may have been something that happened to you when you were really, really young where, a spider did something that scared you literally to death, practically. So I know with the butterfly situation that I talked about a little bit earlier, one of my friends is petrified of butterflies because when she was younger, she was chased or assumed she was being chased by a butterfly. And to this day, she's 51 like I am. She's petrified of butterflies. So, this is something that would be really beneficial if you had someone in your extended family that might remember something that happened to you that had something to do with spiders. Now, spiders is also a very normal thing for a lot of people to be afraid of. It's one of those common culturally shared archetypes. But I think with you, it goes a little bit further than that there may have been something that you experienced at a younger age. Spiders can be really good and good luck charms and have a lot of spiritual meaning to them. So, but I don't think that's the case for you.
So how would one tell, is it just a regular phobia or is there something I'm not facing in my daily life?
Right. It's just the way she's written it out, that it's been ongoing for a long time and she still checks physically, you still physically check for the spiders every day. That carries over more predominantly into the day-to-day.
Yeah.
Then it just continues. You're being harassed by spiders during the day and at night. You're not getting a break, and it's been going on since childhood. So there's something else going on there. If it was my dream, there's something else going on there.
Okay, awesome. You're so awesome at this. And because a lot of these dreams I'm like, ooh, I don't even know how I would actually interpret that or how I would express that so
thank you.
You're doing really cool.
Cool.
I'm just trying to think of some, Karen's saying, any thoughts on dreams with white snakes? I used to be terrified by snakes in my dreams, and then I took one and threw it out and took control. Now I am in a stage of dreams again where with white snakes, and I am not scared in the dreams. That's really cool.
That is actually fantastic. So you faced one of your shadows in your dreams and actually threw it the hell out. So, and now just by dreaming about them again, it's showing you how far you've come in your life by actually letting that fear go and facing that shadow self. Now you'd have to look at to see what that represents to you. Snakes, if you are Christian, are very prominent, right? So maybe you need to look at today, if it was mine, I would look at, what were my spiritual aspirations at the time that I was absolutely terrified of that white snake, and what is different today in my life, in my spiritual journey, that I couldn't care less about a snake anymore.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I have a lot of clients who ask me this, and I'm just going to present the question to you. When people show up in your dreams that have crossed over, to me, I always take it as that's your loved one that's absolutely visiting you. What would be your interpretation?
100%.
Okay.
100%. When my dad died, I did not know about it for a good 6 months. We were living on the other side of the world, so we didn't get notified right away. But I actually dreamt the night that he died. We were in the kitchen together, and he was sitting on a kitchen chair. And you know how as kids you we could do it on this chair too, you kind of lean back.
Yeah.
And you wobble back and forth, and he just kind of waved at me and then wobbled back and was gone. He just fell over. So I knew at that point in time that he was gone. And
now, did you realize it at the time, or
I
was
did?
it? Okay.
I did. But this is again, I've been doing this since I was 4 years old. So, this is where dreams get a little interesting, because you could have the visitations, right? If that is part of your belief system, which it is wholeheartedly for me. I get visited all the time. My cats. All the pets in our lives, right? They come to make sure that we're okay. So those things do happen. I have had daydreams. I mean, there's lots of different visitations, let's just say, right? And the veils are thin when we're in dream state. So our guides come through going, yay, we could actually chat to you if you would just understand the symbols. And, even I'm dense lots of times. There's a lot of times where I will send my dreams over to my friends to just get a second opinion, because sometimes you can't see that forest for the trees, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so you can have the precognitive dreams, you can have the visitation dreams, and you can have them in your daytime as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I've been in Kitchener for a long time. I don't know if some of you remember this or not, when they were changing the on-ramp from the highway down onto our expressway on King Street to get to Cortland. It was a very dangerous ramp. I mean, it's still dangerous, but it was worse before they changed it. And I remember driving up, I was driving, actually out daylight driving, and I was driving up that ramp. I had a movie vision playing in my head that was showing me and making me aware of a maneuver that I needed to do in order to get out of a car's way. And I thought, well, that's weird, because I was the first time that happened. But it was so clear. And sure enough, I got up on that ramp, and my natural instinct would have steered into that car. But because I had that vision, I steered the opposite way, and he missed me by this much. So, the dream space, or when you're in that veil, that other realm, it can happen during the day too when we daydream.
That's awesome. Like really, really, really awesome. Sandy is wanting to know, can you explain to her how you would do a session? What does it look like? Do you provide it online, face-to-face?
It varies, because people nowadays are all over the place, right, and have commitments. So yes, so we can do FaceTime, but I like the personal interaction. Maybe I'm old school, so it's just nicer, I find, when we can sit down together and really chat in a private environment. So I usually see those clients at my home office, and we would sit down, and you would come prepared with a dream. If you have one, most people come because they do have one that's bothering them.
Yeah.
And then we sit down and talk a little bit about what's going on in your day-to-day life before we even get into the dream space, to just get a feel for what's maybe going on. And then either I read the dream or you read it to me. I kind of like when you read it to me, because I also get your energy that way. And then I make notes, because that sometimes my brain goes so fast, the things that I hear, that I have to write it down, or I won't remember it accurately. That's why when people email me dreams, it's great, because I'll read the dream and I'll just write it back as it flows out. But when we sit together, then when you read, I make notes just to make sure that we catch everything. And then I teach you how to do this. I write my thoughts, but I don't share those with you right away. We go and we work through the dream right from the get-go. So we title it, we go through how you felt when you dreamt it, how often you've dreamt it, what it could be relating to in your day-to-day life. We go through the nouns, the verbs, everything that's in there, and I show you how to put a word to that. We make a little chart, we start a dream journal so that you can refer back to that, because you are going to be creating your own dream dictionary, so you actually remember what those words mean to you. They change over time as we move into different stages of life. Let's say you get married and you have children. You know, your dream dictionary is going to change because your symbols are going to change for you. Move to a different country, there's a different culture aspect that comes in, and you're going to pick those up over time too. So we talk about all of that.
That's awesome.
It's detailed.
If someone wanted to book a one-on-one session with you or to get an email reading with you, what would be the easiest way for them to get in contact?
You know what? Right now, it's over email if you wish, or through Facebook Messenger. You don't want to put the dream onto my business page because I'm very much about privacy. And I don't want the rest of my crew that's on there looking to read your details. So definitely PM me, and then I can respond there. That's what I've been doing mostly. Or email version, just email me directly, and then, email you back.
Awesome. And for the one-on-one appointments, because I've never actually done a one-on-one. I've always done the email ones. So what is the cost associated with a one-on-one?
Okay, so if we're just going to do there's the one-on-one where we work together as the Insightful Dreamer Journal. So I teach you the whole process. So there's an education piece in it. So it usually takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how much is actually in there. So that's $120. And then if you want to just meet with me on one-on-one, and we just literally go through the dream, not really any education, but we still want to do the background as to what is going on with you, so I can give you all of what I'm feeling and hearing. That's usually an hour, and that's $80. And then you can do the email version, which is literally you send it to me and I send back what I pick up, and that's $25.
I knew that one.
Yes.
Because I know that one. Alrighty. So Nicola, hello Nicola, is saying, just 1 second. You mentioned getting ready for bed. You mentioned asking when you're getting ready for bed and how to train yourself to remember your dream. Is there a way we can ask our mind, our inner self? Sorry, this is freezing. Oh dear. Is there a way we can ask our mind or our inner self for an answer to come during a dream?
Yes, 100%. If you're able to do the lucid dreaming, which most of us do, we're just not aware that we're lucid dreaming. All lucid dreaming means is that you know you're in the dream. So, and you can affect the dream, how it's going. So when sometimes you wake up in a dream and you think you're actually awake, but you're actually dreaming. Once you figure that out, that you're actually there, you can interact and do with whatever you wish. If there's something going on in your day-to-day time that you're having a real issue with, then instead of just saying, help me remember my dream, then you just go to bed and you say, help me fix this, help me bring a solution. Well, whatever your best sentence is for that, you can ask whatever you wish. Your guides are listening. You guys are listening. I have a friend whose husband goes to bed with, let's say, something that he wants to build, and he comes up with a plan the next morning and he builds it. You can.
That's awesome.
This is your built-in
It's your information.
Yes. It's
channeler.
Just, because you have access to your guides there, and they're actually excited because they can actually talk to you. It's just you need to be able to understand them.
Yes. I actually, right when I was starting on this journey, I guess it was like back in 2006, I was going into the motions of asking for a divorce from my husband and all of that. And I went out to the graveyard to talk to my dad. And I said to my dad, come to me in my dreams tonight and please give me an answer as to what I'm supposed to do. And I went to bed and I woke up halfway through the night and I hadn't dreamt anything yet. And I was like damn it, Dad. I said you need to bring me an answer and you need to give me some sort of clarity here or whatever. And then I went back to sleep and he was there in the hospital room and I remembered his pajamas so clearly. And he looked at me and he said, these are the best damn potatoes I've ever had. This dream was so significant to me. And then my grandmother was there and I was like, Grandma, I didn't know you were here. And she's like, of course I am. I'm always right beside your father, which she's buried right beside my father in the graveyard. So then I took it as she was listening.
Yes.
And all that too. And then she was like, if you look in the mirror, you're able to see the air. And I was like, okay. And she was like, look at your reflection in the mirror and you can see the air. And I was like, okay. And I woke up and I felt like I had gotten the answer that I needed. And it was so profound. And then this past December, I was in an energy healing session and all of the women in my family had lined up and they were all looking in the mirror to see the air. And I was like, woo! It was like a full circle on that. So it was really cool and really powerful to be able to say to them on this side, before I even knew anything really about dreams, to say to them on this side, I need an answer in my dream. Mm-hmm. And they bring it forward. So I'm just adding on to what you've said here.
Totally. And I think this is a good, actually, for me to intersect a little here and say that this is where a dream journal is so important. Because you can dream something a year from, like a year ago, and then, you'll be, wait a minute, this seems familiar. When you're in something, you're like, oh, I dreamt that. I think that's called déjà vu or something.
Deja vu.
No, it's not déjà vu. It's déjà revi. R-E-V-E.
Okay.
It's a different term.
Never heard of that one.
But that you're actually reliving that dream, or not reliving it, but they told you this was happening and it's happening.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what, you've come that full circle.
Yes, when we were trying to get pregnant with Odin,
yes,
I asked them, give me a sign that we're actually going to have this baby. And the only part of the dream I remembered was shutting a cupboard door. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, what the heck is that supposed to mean? Mm-hmm. And then it was probably like 9-10 months later, I decided to paint the bathroom, and on a whim I had enough paint left over. I painted the ugly kitchen cupboards that we had. Mm-hmm. And when I went to shut the cupboard door, I was like, ooh, I've had a dream about this before. Did not clue into what it was, and then 2 days later found out we were pregnant with Odin, and I was like, that was them telling me.
Exactly.
But I had no idea at the time. So yeah, to have a journal for that, I've got a really good memory, but I know not everybody does. So.
And at the beginning with the dreams, they're, in and out. So by writing them down and being able to go back, I don't always keep a dream journal anymore now either.
Yeah.
But, because you can also follow healing. Either you're healing, if you're a healer or a complementary healthcare practitioner, whatever you want to call us, there's things that you dream about. So let's say, okay, so I had a relative who was very, very ill about 4 years ago, and I would send distant healing every night. And the one night, I got hit with this massive black guk wave. I've never experienced it before. Totally freaked me out. I cut the contact off quickly, but I got hit with this guk. And it was depression and sadness because, she was unfortunately going toward end stage of life. But then I kind of let that go and really didn't pay any attention. But then 2 weeks ago, I wasn't feeling 100% either. Went to bed, just slept, was in then a lucid dream where I was watching myself from a distance. But in the distance, I was a silhouette. And I was standing sideways and I was naked, so it was a skin color. And then I'm like, oh yeah, in the dream, I was pointing at myself going, oh yeah, I gotta let go of that sludge. And I'm like, in the dream going, what? So, but the minute that I said that, there was this black suit of sludge that just kind of gooed off as if into the shadow, like it fell off like a shadow and got sucked into the ground. I had held this whole time. It's like 3-4 years, right? What else are we holding on to? But I was very grateful I was able to let go of that. But it was related to, an incident from 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so you need to keep a dream journal. This stuff is powerful, and you'd be surprised how many aha moments you have over your lifetime. It predicts is really the wrong word, but it will show you things that might be happening or coming up in your life.
Yes.
When I was end dated at work, July, I had a dream that my CEO at the time came over and gifted me 3 black kittens. And I'm like, thanks. In my dream, I was polite. And then when I woke up, though, I realized that those kittens were my past, my present, and my future. She was basically giving me the gift of moving on. And it was a very welcome change, so I wasn't really too stressed out about it. But the other significant part of that was she had given me the 3 kittens, past, present, future. But I also got my walking papers on October 3rd. So very significant. And I chuckled that day because I remembered the dream. So they're very powerful. Dreams can be very, very powerful.
Absolutely. So Jennifer is saying, but I really don't remember anything. Is that common? And what can I do about this?
Yes, very common. A lot of times, if you don't ever have any niggling dreams, there really isn't anything going on, and you're probably interacting with your Akashic records, you're interacting with your guides, and you're just moving along, and it's fine. You don't need to remember it. But if you really truly do want to remember your dreams, you do the same thing. Instead of, actually you do the same thing. You go and you say, I would like to remember my dreams. I would like to remember my dreams. That process can take 2 weeks, a month. You have to be patient, because it takes a while for your body to realize that, oh, she's going to actually listen and write them down. But yes, you can basically program yourself to do that.
So that would just be like a practice every day of saying.
Same thing as if you, yes.
Okay.
Every day. Yeah. Every night.
Yeah. Yes. Or daytime dreaming.
Sure.
Whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
Sandy Edwards says, déjà vu.
Oh, thanks for checking.
Means already dreamed, which describes the sensation that what you are currently experiencing is a scene or a memory or simply a feeling from something that you've dreamt previously.
Thanks, Sandy.
There you go.
There it is.
You're
yes.
right. I've never heard of that before, so I just learned something new, which is really awesome.
Now, one thing I do want to add. Oh, is that okay?
Oh yeah, it's just a Facebook notification.
Oh, sorry. I have my glasses on, still can't read it. Now I forgot what I was going to add. Oh, yes. I'm of a little bit of a different school, because a lot of people, there's a lot of people that say your dream symbols are different from your day symbols. And, I don't buy into that. Maybe I did when I was a teenager and reading all those dictionary ones too, and to get started. But it's been my experience with me and my dreams that my symbols are my symbols day and night, because the guides are already trying too darn hard to get through to us. If they now have to teach us 2 languages, we'll never get it. So for me, it's very much my dream symbol represents the exact same thing as it does in my day-to-day symbols.
And that makes sense, because I know for myself as an intuitive that I've asked them for specific symbols around certain different events or life experiences or whatever. So when I'm giving readings, I'm able to see those symbols to make it easier for me.
Yes.
So
totally agree. It makes sense, right? Why learn 2 different dialects? I have trouble speaking English at times. Now, let alone learning 2 more languages. No.
And yeah, that makes it a lot easier to, instead of, because I even know sometimes when I see an animal in a dream, I've been known to go to dream moods and see what does the animal say. But a lot of times it doesn't actually resonate with me. But when I look up the spiritual meaning of what the animal is bringing forward, I'm like, oh, okay, so that resonates with me. And
that's a really good example, actually, which what I was saying earlier, that each dream, it's yours. It's what resonates with you. Someone else could have checked the dream mood dictionary and resonated with that animal. So it's very much your own speak. Whatever that speak is, whatever you're drawn to in your day-to-day, and that's really what you need to rely on. So, we can come up with several different versions of how to interpret a dream. Like when we run dream groups and people give their input, the idea behind that is to only keep what resonates, because everyone brings a different perspective. Some people have grown up in Canada. Some people have been in different countries and come back. Some people have a cultural different background, some different life experiences. All of that can come in. And I've had a completely different upbringing than what you've had.
Yeah.
So we will be speaking completely different languages.
Yeah.
And in some ways will be similar. So, and that's okay too. But it in the end is what resonates with you. What does this say? It's very
I think
important.
that's a really important thing in dream work, but in all work,
in everything
that we're all doing is, does my heart resonate with this? And if so, to take that. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, that you don't have to take absolutely everything as being the absolute truth just because a certain someone said it, or because it was in a book that you read, or it was in a movie, or it was what your upbringing was, whatever. That we get to choose. That is such a powerful thing, is that we get to choose.
And that's why I'm so passionate about this, and why my goal is to empower all of you back to listen in here and understand your language, because it is your own built-in advisor. I was like, advisor, what you called me earlier. So the empowerment to take your power back and live your life to the fullest. And I think dreams can give us that. I really, really do believe that.
That's awesome. Because my mind has like 100 questions always. So with the dream journals, I know you talked about like having them, for like say 3 years. You can look back 3 years ago and go, I know I dreamt about this, and then find it. Is there any point where you go, okay, so now it's time to get rid of these dream journals? Like, I'm done with this section of my life? Or is it just kind of a personal preference?
I think it's a personal preference. So like when I was keeping my dream journals, so there's so many different schools of thought. Some people have just a dream journal. I don't. I don't like clutter. My journals are important to me, and I want to fill up every page. And so my day journal, like the things where I do my to-do notes and whatever else, is also my dream journal that I write in if I need to. So all of my stuff is always in journal until it's full. So I have gotten into a habit that I burn all my journals in a ceremony once a year. But you don't have to do that. I know people have had their dream journals for 15 years and they go back, and it's okay.
I burnt all of my journals this past December.
Oh!
And it was the most, because I was like, I'm done with all of this. We're starting like this brand new decade and all of this. And wow, what a release that was. And I was like, why have I kept all of these journals for so bloody long? And there was like manifesting journals and vision boards and all of this stuff going back to like 2004, 2005. And I've just been toting it around everywhere. So that's why I asked the question, because it is so liberating to just release it. But then if you have a dream that was, say, 3 years ago, and you want a back reference to it, that's why.
Then keep a separate journal and just hold on to it for a while. Everybody's different. With the dream journals too, they need to be, or should be, fluid, because your dictionary changes all the time. So in my dream journal, like with the session that I teach, it's, you want a binder of some kind that that you can put papers into. And that way you can add to your dictionary as we go and rip out, because a symbol may be not applicable anymore. So it needs to be fluid, because we're fluid beings. So it changes all the time. But yeah, you've at the beginning, if you've never done this, I would suggest a separate journal and keep that.
Okay, awesome. Gabby, it just went up there. So 1 second, Gabby, we are getting to you. And then Charlene, we will get to you. So Gabby asks, is it possible to force a dream to happen to correct something negative that came true from a past dream? So I guess it's kind of like manifesting through your dream work, what you want to have happen.
You know what, I've never really tried that. But what is a little strange with me is, or unique to me, every Christmas over, like from the time that we start Christmas over here, so usually around the 25th to the 28th, it varies depending on what's been going on with me for the previous year, I enter a dream phase. And this is why I disappear during Christmas, because I literally do continual dreaming. So I will sleep and I will dream, and it's almost like a summary, like I am reliving my past year and whatever else that needs to just be dumped. and I get my guidance and that kind of thing. So it is a continuous dream, and I'm very lucid and very interactive. And then I wake up and I have a coffee or whatever, and then I'll get tired and again and go back to bed, and I will pick up that same dream, go back into it, and continue. So it's along the lines of what you're saying. You're looking for a way to make amends, let's say, but I can do that, but I usually do that once a year. I try not to do that too regular because my dream life is very active. So I usually work through all of my issues in my dreams too, right? And part of that is letting go of guilt, shame, something that I've done that I feel a little negative about. We're not able to influence, well, I shouldn't say we're not able to. I've never really done that because I believe in not influencing someone else for their highest good. I just concentrate on me in the dream space. And then if whatever changes in me on a global consciousness level affects the other people, that's okay. But to go in with an intent to change a negative person or something that happened, I don't do that.
Fair enough.
Does that make okay?
Yep, fair enough. Charlene is saying, hello ladies, great information with a big smiley face. I had a dream long ago, stays fresh in my mind to this day, about my Bapsia, which is great grandmother, who passed. We were in her kitchen, but it was bright and on fire. She was trying to tell me something, but I wasn't able to figure it out. We were very close when I was young. I could smell her perfume in the dream as well.
Okay, so fire can be cleansing, but it can also be very harmful. So if this was my dream, I would try to recollect it as best as you can, which you have, but I was also pull up or try to remember what you felt about the flames, because you need to figure out in that dream whether or not those flames were cleansing flames for you or for your, for your grandma, or what's happening there. I know I'm not giving you an answer because you actually need to figure that out by yourself.
Fair enough. But you're giving her the right questions to ask. And sometimes that's really what it's about, is getting the right questions to be able to find the right answers. Because sometimes we might get stuck on the idea of, I've had this dream with the fire, right? So what does the fire mean?
Correct.
But it's, what did the fire make you feel?
It's feelings. It's feelings. You can also go into meanings to get back to the feelings, but it all comes down to the feelings.
Awesome. And I'm going to take one more question because we are almost at 9 o'clock. Oh. So Charlene says, okay, no, that's great. Thank you. So
great.
That's perfect. So last question is from Tammy Jean Store Welsh. Hi, Tammy. Why do certain foods, alcohol, etc., seem to make you dream more?
Well, anything that we take in can affect our dream state because it also affects our dopamine levels and serotonin levels. So when you get into a relaxed state, that dopamine actually controls or helps guide that whole process. So it's, drugs can really mess you up in your dream state, bring out nightmares. So I don't have a scientific explanation other than it's the chemicals, right? And, some people say they eat cheese and they start having nightmares. So and there's actually some scientific studies done with food and how different foods affect the type of dreams that you're having. That
would be another kind of cool thing to see how the food that you're eating is affecting what the dreams are. I know with Odin, when he's had nightmares and stuff, it's typically because he's had a more sugary snack prior to bedtime. So it might be, a sugared cereal or whatever. And then he has a nightmare. Now he's like, I don't want to have the sugary snacks before bed because I don't want to have the nightmares. So it was a parenting one.
Give him sugar, nightmares. So that works.
Right. Alrighty. Thanks everybody for watching. What is your Facebook? I am going to be posting it on, but I know it's facebook.com/Natascha
Steckel, Insightful Dreamer. So insightful dream coach and mentor. Goodness.
It's a long one.
It is a long one, but it's a long one.
Yes, so I will get that posted onto the comments below, and I'll be posting it on the page as well, so you don't have to go through the comments. By all means, if you have any questions for Natascha, reach out. As she said, she's available through Facebook Messenger on the business page, but not on the business page, or also through your email. What is your email address?
It's nst@nataschaSteckel.com. And Natascha is with an SCH, and the Steckel is with an EL at the end. I'm a strange cookie.
I will
She'll link.
I will get that posted up for you guys as well. And yeah, by all means, message her if you've got an awesome dream or a really weird dream that you're wanting to have figured out. It's only $25 for the email, which I think is an incredible deal, especially with the amount of detail that you bring forward. Or book her for the one-on-one appointments as well, and perhaps a reflexology too, because she also she does good at that.
The tactile, head to toe service.
All right, thanks so much, Natascha, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone who's watched and for asking all of your great questions. And have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
Sweet
Bye-bye.
dreams.
Yes, sweet
Bye.
dreams.